Think about politics in America right now, just generally. Democrats appear on the upswing. President Biden and the media continue to ignore the Hunter Biden story. They're so confident Hunter will skate that his dad brought him to the Kennedy Center honors last night.
Mr. Biden, what are you expecting from the Republican Congress?
Yeah, he's not worried. President Biden's basement strategy for the Georgia Senate race appears to be working. The Democrats appoint Hakeem Jeffries as their new leader. Almost no Americans have any idea who he is in Congress. Now, for the Republicans, they narrowly won a majority in the House, but can't decide on a speaker. Expect a bloody battle. The most recent former Republican president and vice president can't stop publicly fighting. I think that was our best attempt at a sad elephant. The most recent former Republican president continues to find crazier and crazier things to say by the day. That's one of many Republicans. Well, the Republican will likely lose the Georgia Senate race. One of the many reasons is Donald Trump. Never mind, a sane Republican won the governor's race in Georgia by 8 points. Things are looking pretty good for my friend Chris Hahn's team. He's the host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast. I should say, by no fault of Democrats' own, it seems as though the Republicans just keep giving you gifts.
Well, that's what happens when you partner with a loser. You lose. Donald Trump has brought them down. He is a lead weight around their neck that they cannot get rid of because, quite frankly, their base still respects him and will likely nominate him to run for president, even though he wants to suspend the Constitution, which, by the way, includes the Second Amendment, which a lot of conservatives tend to like. So I don't understand where they're going with this guy.
It gets wacky. I mean, we can argue about that later. I don't think you and I really disagree on that. Whether or not he becomes the nominee is something different.
Right.
I want to talk about the nominee of your party, though, which Joe Biden should be getting all of this credit by Democrats. They should be loving him right now, and they're not. Big leak to Politico. Politico's magazine piece this weekend. The president who did it all in one term and what Biden can learn from him. That's Politico just this weekend. The Washington Post. Biden shakes up the primary calendar and insulates himself from challengers. Who talks about a primary challenge to a sitting president? Also in the Washington Post, the same newspaper, the same day, the top 10 Democratic presidential candidates for 2024 ranked. I'm not trained to believe in coincidences, but once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is an enemy action, my friend, and these are not Republican publications.
Yeah, let me explain to whoever's wasting all their money and resources trying to line this stuff up, and you're right, somebody is. Politics ain't beanbag, it's a blood sport. If Joe Biden decides in 3 weeks that he's running for president of the United States, he will be the Democratic nominee for president of the United States, and he will continue to be president of the United States after 2024. So whoever's out there, and I know there's a bunch of people out there that think that there's a path. There might be a path. Wait till February. If Joe Biden decides he's not running for president, then it's game on. Until then, wait your turn. It's not your turn.
Fair analysis. I'm not sure I totally agree with it, but how is it that Biden is not getting more credit for this, right? 41-54 approve, disapprove. In fact, he's not even won it in Georgia. He's headed to Arizona tomorrow during this Georgia Senate race. It looks like Raphael Warnock is going to win in Georgia, not because of Biden's numbers, but in spite of them.
Well, Raphael Warnock's going to win in Georgia because they nominated a guy who doesn't actually understand anything about Georgia or the issues that Georgians care about. But yeah, Biden should be getting more credit. And if you look at the exit polls during the midterm elections, his approval rating was a little bit higher than we see in some of these other polls that people take from people who actually show up and vote in elections. He was near 49%, if I remember correctly. So he will get some credit. He will get some blame. Obviously, gas prices are coming down. Home heating fuel oil prices are still kind of high. We're in that season where people are doing that. They all blame the president for that, even though he has very little to do with it. But I think Joe Biden, when he starts pounding his chest and touting his record, is going to do quite well among the American people. I think he's actually positioned in a good place to win, especially given the clear divisions in the GOP right now. Clear.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.